everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Eddrick Show. I am your host, Eddrick Jerome. This is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Please remember, in addition to my YouTube channel, you can find the Eddrick Show on Spotify. You can also catch us on Apple Podcasts and just about every single one of your favorite podcast streaming services. Please locate us, hit that subscribe button, drop us a comment as we continue to grow this thing from the ground up. Today, I continue my focus on independent short filmmakers and people who are doing things in the world of film. And I want to welcome my guest, Keisha Boston Gallagher. Keisha is she's a talented actor, writer, screenwriter, producer, director. She wrote and directed the award-winning short film Hard Sale, and she is currently in pre-production of her new project, The Blues. Keisha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's get into it. So, where did you grow up, and when and how did you develop your passion for writing, directing, and filmmaking?
I am born and raised from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Like people like, you really live there? Like I really, it's do they have houses? Yes, we have houses, we have schools, we have crime, we have everything. So I'm born and raised from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I did not I wasn't on the path of filmmaking. In high school, it took a while for my personality. I say it took a while for my personality to blossom. I grew up around my grandmother and my great aunts. And if you know what that was like, it was like you be seen and you do not be heard. Like you don't say anything, you mind your business. And so a lot of stuff was just like observed, and I would just sit there and watch and maybe say something here and there. And it wasn't until high school, actually like grade school and then high school, where I started to really started to talk and was like joking around and always had a story and things like that. So I've been doing that for years. I got to filmmaking. I started off acting. I had got to a point in my life where it was just kind of, I don't want to say wondering what the hell was I doing, but kind of wondering what the hell I was doing. I am technically a licensed minister, and so and disclaimer, I always say I'm at the road of righteous and righteous. So take that how you want to take it. So I got to the point where it was just kind of like, okay, so I've been doing this ministry thing hardcore. Like when I say like out of college, and I would like after college I went to seminary, and I would minister and I would like preach a sermon, and everybody, I mean people would be at the altar and I would sit there and think like, is this it? Like it has to be something else for me out here. Like I was never really content with it, and so I started acting. Wanted to see if I could do it. I took a Groupon, and I got a Groupon for an acting class to see if I was good, and I wasn't bad. But I really always felt like I was behind the scenes. I was always better behind the scenes. But while on set, I used that to learn about it. And so that's kind of like really how it started. And even how I got into screenwriting was I just wanted to tell one story. And that one story has really blessed me and kind of it's got me here.
Quick shout out to Groupon. Love Groupon.
Yeah. Like it's no excuses. Like I'm just big on, I don't ever want to cripple myself on excuses. Like, and I don't ever want to be the excuse. But I was doing background work and I used that to learn. I booked one commercial though, but I used that to learn about set life.
You mentioned it, and that was going to be my next question. Maybe tell me a little bit more about living at the intersection of righteous and ratchet. Give me a little more about that, because I love that concept.
It evolves every day. It's something different. I So it's funny, like I've really grown. So people who've known me like from college to now, and they see me now, I care less. Um, I'm probably going to say more. Uh, and I'm I'm not uptight, and sometimes when, especially people in the whole Christian world, and they say this is what God said and this is what God, and it's like, but would Jesus really do this? Would Jesus really care about this though? Like, let's look at the whole scope of thing and how he moved throughout the whole Bible, and all of a sudden Jesus is caring about these things. And so I am really I'm really big on believing what the actual word is saying. And because I went to seminary, I know how to use a book, Strong's Hebrew, and I know how to get what is actually said in the original translation. And so really living at the intersection of ratchet and righteous is I'm living my life. I'm not denying myself of anything, but also the things that I'm living. I am, at the heart of me, I'm conservative. So when I say I'm living my life, I'm not like out here in these streets on these stripper poles at all. Like, that's not my thing. That's not my ministry, but I love me some P Valley. Okay. So so that's just what it is. I'm free. I'm not really caring about what people think. I'm figuring it out for myself. I'm deep in my understanding, my relationship with Christ, which looks different from all of our relationships look different. And I rock and roll with mine. I'm in the car. I just be like, all right, God, what you say? And it's like, you might think I'm talking to somebody. We high fiving, we fist bumping. So, so yeah, so that's kind of what that whole intersection. But like I said, I say this as a disclaimer because people say, "Oh, you're a licensed minister." They think you're one way, and I am totally different. So, so yeah, so that's my thing on living at the intersection of ratchet and righteous, and my writing doesn't reflect that. I tell people I am a Christian, but I'm not a Christian writer. I'm not writing Christian-based content.
Very well said. So you go through your Groupon classes and you start writing and you're everything. Okay, so now you're at the point where you have your first project, Hard Sale, which was an award-winning short film. So tell me about how that project developed and what, just how you came to produce and direct and do everything around that film, Hard Sale.
Well, Hard Sale came out of I was in a filmmaking competition, and some people know, but I didn't even want to do the competition. I was like, I don't even really want to do this. I was and I ended up winning the competition, and I wrote it during the competition. And winning meant that you were able to direct and film the short that you wrote. So that was how Hard Sale came about. We had certain themes that you could write on. They were like themes based around love, I believe. So we had, I think I picked the transformation theme. And we had a house, and they showed us pictures of the house. And they gave us actors. It was I think about 6 actors, and none of them really fit together, but you had to write around that. And that's how Hard Sell came about.
And if people want to see it, or how can they check it out
Well,
right
Hard
now?
Sell currently, because it's on I still have, I think I have about 3 film festivals alive. So it's
Okay.
not public
Okay.
because you will be disqualified from certain film
Sure.
festivals. Yeah.
Sure. That leads right into my next question. The film festival circuit. I've been asking a lot of short filmmakers and independent filmmakers about their experience with short films and filmmaking and the film festival circuit. So, what's been your experience with the film festival circuit and the selection process, and what have you learned in dealing
um
with film festivals?
I've maybe learned not to do so many. I did a lot, and I really honestly, I think I started doing it out of like anxiety. Like, I gotta win another one. Well, what's going on? And I really enjoy going to sleep and waking up, going to sleep to finding out that I won, or waking up and finding out that I qualified, or when I'm having a hard moment and I check my phone, I'm like, oh snap, I won. So the film festival, I mean, I had to learn it. I had to learn the ins and outs of it. One of the biggest things I've learned is that um, you'll get emails about signing up for certain film festivals, and they'll offer you discounts when they're near the end. You may not have a higher chance compared to you coming in the middle or the beginning. So I did apply for a lot of those. But the film festival circuit has been, at the end of the day, really has been a blessing for me. Hard Sell has won, I think, six, 6 or 7 awards. And then I have probably about 10 nominations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's been a blessing. I haven't virtually been to a film festival because of COVID. So a lot of stuff, everybody's been doing everything online.
Tell us about the short film market in general, or because I always might, and I've asked every filmmaker I've had on, I think short films and is just an untapped market. There's so many wonderful short films out there, so many different subjects you can get into, but you got to go look for them. So, what's been in your view? Were you into short films before you started making them, or what's your take on the quote unquote short film market, and how are you going to navigate through that?
No, no, I didn't watch short film. I watched Hair Love.
Okay.
I watched the ones before the Disney Pixar ones before the shows
Yeah.
with my
Yep.
daughter.
Yep.
Like I've seen those. They are a blessing. I mean, they are out there. Producer I'm working with, she was saying how we were talking about putting your content on Tubi, and she said how people were like, "Do they have short films on there?" And she's like, "Yes, they do. They have a bunch of short films." And she said how she navigate through them. They are a great tool to help you perfect your craft, to work on your craft, and to get your content out there. They are a great tool for that. I don't plan on staying in short film long. I'm currently doing short films to build my directing portfolio. That's my goal, but I have to write it so that I can direct it. So that's what I'm working on now.
It takes a team, and you mentioned you're working with a producer. It takes a team to produce a project, whether it's a short film or a feature-length film. So, what's your collaboration style? And tell us about some of the folks who are like-minded, like you, who are on your team. How do you work with? Because it's not always easy working with different people, and especially when it's your vision and you wrote it and you're directing it.
Yeah,
Tell us
yeah.
about how you deal with the team.
Yeah, that's like I'm easygoing, like I'm funny, I want to joke, I want to laugh, but I'm also particular. Like I want it the way I saw it, I want it the way I wrote it. So I will hold on to my vision. But I am open to I'm open to criticism and I'm open to change. My big thing is the people who I want working with me, I want them to want to work with me.
Mm.
That's a big thing. Like once you make me feel like, oh, I'm just another job, or it's just like, well, let me like I'm kind of like I'm not big on that energy. I'm not big. I'm not big on that energy. I've come across some great people, some lifetime people where it's like, hey, let's come on back. Let's do this. Um, let's work on this. Even like with Hard Sell, the my competitors who didn't place, they were invited to come and film Hard Sell, and they also got IMDb credits,
Mm.
and they came and they're wonderful. Like I call them any day, like, hey, let's get the band back together. Let's work on this. Um, my producer and like my coordinator, they've been like really great. Shout out to Krishna A. Murray, and April Collins. They have been really great. They've been patient for the blues. Sometimes we haven't had a weekly meeting in a while, but those weekly meetings can be a lot. Probably a lot for me because it's like it's my project, like it's my stuff. So, but I feel like my blood pressure is so high, and they're like, "It's okay, you're gonna be okay." I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I'm not feeling okay. They've been great. My writing coach, who also did the flip the script filmmaking competition, Eunice A. Smith, just like lifetime people, just great. And so I've been blessed to have some great people around me, other people, mentors, people who I can talk to, people who really, really help me out. my journey. Shout out to sis, Carolyn. So like people, I've had some great people to come across, but like I said, I just want people to want to work with me. And I understand like you have to get paid. And I'm not saying like I wasn't gonna pay you nothing, but like, it's just like, well, how much is so? But I was like, yeah, I don't, I'm not big on that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The business side of it, which was going to be my next question, and you kind of touched on it. So, how are you navigating through quote unquote the business side of filmmaking? Because at the end of the day, it is a business.
Yeah, and I was in the church. You handle the church, you can handle the business side of filmmaking. Like this might be way easier here. So I mean, yes, the business side, I mean, it's the why though. When you really get to the
Mm,
business side of filmmaking, you're like, oh, I understand why they did this. I understand why they filmed here. I understand why they made the actors wear a wig. Like you just start to understand why things are done and how you can get things done so that you can get your project out. Unfortunately, there are some tough business decisions where you're just like that, when you're dealing with networks and stuff, and then you done signed contracts. This is stuff beyond your control at this point. But yeah, so yes, it's a lot of business. But when you have a great team, they just kind of help you navigate through all that.
you mentioned your next project, The Blues. So tell us about that. You're in pre-production now, right? Is that where you
Yes,
are?
yes.
Okay.
It's like yeah, right for the blues. Which is funny because I was working on another short that I wrote over spring break called The People Across the Street. And one thing about filmmaking is that you don't want to be tied to anything because the opportunities, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's like, oh, we're going this way. Oh, no, I'm going this. Like the path that you take to get there, I'm just learning to be open. As of now, yes, the blues is what I'll be filming. But if some other factors changed, it could be the people across the street, but we could talk about the blues. uh the blues is again something that came about from a conversation I was just having with somebody, and we were just talking about relationships and things like that, and the more it grew, it just really became into like this own story and started to take a life of its own. It's pretty good. Everybody has really enjoyed it. It's funny. Most of the stuff I do, right, is funny. I have to make a conscious decision not to make anything funny in
Mm.
it. Like I'm like, yo, don't say nothing funny. This is this scene, like so. But yeah, so that is the blues, and the blues is shaped around when a girl makes a bet with her best friend not to sleep with her ex. That is the blues, and the ex is attractive and he's telling her everything, and the girl is about that life. And I say that my character is like the granddaughter of Nova Darling.
Mm.
She's
Mm.
got to have it.
Right, right.
So yeah, so it's just this whole dynamic of them trying to figure, like trying to see who's going to win and how this thing is going to play out. So that is the blues. So
Um, you mentioned obviously Spike Lee with She's Gotta Have It. So who are some of your other favorite directors or filmmakers who have influenced you and your style?
definitely, yeah. I'm a big fan of Spike Lee, and watching his work, for a while. And I like his choices that he puts in there to educate us, as well as to expose us. So that's real good. Definitely Ava DuVernay, things that she does, and the work that she's done with her directing. Uh Debbie Allen,
Mm.
like legendary. Like
Legend.
when you have her on the project, it's like Debbie Allen. It's like, well, wait, hold what? Like Debbie Allen, Marlena Marsukis, the work that she has done with Insecure and things like that. So those are some people who I'm definitely watching and really are looking after.
Shout out to Debbie Allen, especially for her role in The Fisher Save Pittsburgh. I don't know if you're familiar with that film. That goes back to like the mid 70s, late 70s. Had Dr. J in it, a bunch of people like that about a
It
basketball
sounds
team.
a little
Y-
familiar. Yeah, it sounds a
Yeah,
little
that's a
familiar.
great underrated film, The Fish to Save Pittsburgh. So all my listeners
Oh
out
yeah,
there,
yeah, I remember that.
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
I
Debbie
remember
Allen's in that
that.
film, and so
I
That's a
didn't
wonderful
see it
film.
when it came out like the first time, but I do remember.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great flick. So check
Yeah,
it
her
out.
work
Fisher
is
Safe Pittsburgh. She's so
yeah, her
diverse,
work
and
is
she's done
so good.
dance and theater and
Yeah, like
film and
she's just
television
been
and
like killing
everything.
it. Like, and
Exactly.
she's still like she's like on Grey's Anatomy, and like she even did work on like Insecure. So she's been like consecutively like killing it for
Yep.
years.
Yep. Great role model. Great role model. Um, Last couple questions for you. So, you also do work in front of the camera. You mentioned it. You've been in commercials and things like that. So, how has being in front of the camera affected your role behind the camera? Does it give you a unique perspective, or is it two separate lanes and they don't intertwine at all?
Yeah, I have done work in front of the camera, but I stopped. Like I tell people, I'm like, I don't, which is funny because now I get more opportunities, people asking me to act, and I'm like, yeah, I don't do that no more. Like I'm like a Jesus and Meryl type person. Like you
Mm,
want me like a podcast or so, we just talk it. Like that's how I am. But it I mean, it does help me to just be mindful of the actors and what I'm asking and how I'm asking. What has really helped the most is being a writer and directing.
mm,
So that right there has really helped because I'm able to write and create what is possible. Because you're like, well, how do you direct this? And then and I know what to put in the script so that a director can understand it and the director can read it and it has direction and you're able to get the vision out. That part has really, really helped me the most.
awesome. Well, Keisha, as we wrap this thing up, I want to thank you
This
so
was
much for
so
coming on the
quick.
Eddrick Show.
You asked me 2 questions. This was so quick.
Well, if it's something else you want to go into, this is a podcast. I'm not beholden to a time
Look,
frame. Um,
yeah,
but
that's yeah. I don't think I have any more questions. But I mean, but if anybody wants to get into
there you
this,
go.
do it. Like one thing I've learned is that there's no one way to get into this. Don't fall in love with the path of how somebody else gets into it. It's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Um, I talk to everybody.
Hmm.
Like I network. It's a homeless man. I'm gonna say, you do film, sir? You have somebody in your family that
I bet
does
he's
film?
got a story
Like,
though. I bet he has a story because everybody should write your story because that's where a lot of
yeah,
these
like
ideas come from.
yeah,
Exactly.
control your narrative. But I'm
Exactly.
like, so what do you do? And that has really helped. That has really, really helped me. Um, it's just networking. That and talking to people and asking questions like, so how'd you do this and what are you doing here? And that right there has been a great help.
I do have
And
one more question for you. How do you balance all of your creativity and artistic work with family? Because that's you have family, and
what
how do you balance the
family?
two?
Like, what time is it? Is it getting off the school bus? No.
Exactly.
You know what? EarPods are a wonder. Headphones are a wonder. My child's 8, so it's not like I have a little baby or a toddler running around. My child's 8. Um, when it's time to write, like because for me, I know that this is my thing. Like this is my it. Like this is it. And like you needing me to like get up and make your sandwich for the 18th time is going to wait 5 minutes until I'm done right. Like certain things, I'm like, yo, if you don't sit down, so I can write, so I put the headphones on. Um, it, you know, it's been tough. Like my child was like, "We're doing Uber Eats," and I'm like, "How do you know Uber Eats so well?" But and it was times when the laundry is piling up. I remember one time I was going hard on like rewriting the script, and I was like, "Dang, man, I ain't cook, I ain't do the laundry." Like sometimes those things happen, but I mean, I just try to. I'm good, so I do this. Like I put laundry in, I do dishes, so dishes is being done while the laundry is washing, or while the laundry's in, I'm writing. Or you have bedtime. Once she goes to bed, then I put out the headphones on and I'm sitting here writing. And sometimes I have to write with her. I have to learn to And I have a husband too who partakes in chaos. So I have to learn how to operate while I have other things going around me.
Hmm.
To yesterday, they were in the living room playing Mario Golf, and they were like, "Mom, you should play with us." And I was like, "I'm trying to do this rewrite. If y'all just don't leave me alone," like, and I'm sitting here like, okay, you know. So that's how it happens. It is things gets balanced. I never would want my child to say like, "You forgot about me," or "You were doing this." I'm big and come on with me.
Hmm.
My daughter used to do she used to do my self audition tapes with me.
Hmm.
And so she used to say, she knows. I say, "What do you say?" She says, "Rolling background action." Like she knows that. Like, so I'll take her, I want to definitely bring her in as much as possible and, have her work with me. But yeah, it's hard sometimes, but I can't use them as an excuse to why I can't do it. Being married and having children doesn't mean that you stop. It just means that you do it a little differently.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Keisha, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time, and I know you're busy with your rewrites and everything. So thank you. If people want to get more information about you, where can they find information about Keisha Boston Gallagher?
Instagram. It's funny, since I won a competition, I say my DMs be popping. People slide in my DM. Yes, you can definitely send me. You can DM me. You can reach out. You can just follow me at Keisha Boston. Keisha Boston, like the city. You'll see my face. Yeah, you can follow me. It also tells you about my production company, which is iPad Productions. You'll see the Instagram handle there. I'm also on Twitter at Keisha Boston. You can follow me there. So those are the best ways. And if you have a question, sometimes people ask me to read their projects. They ask for my opinions. I provide them. Sometimes they're late, but I do help them out though. I do help them out.
All right. Well, thanks again. This has been another edition of the Eddrick Show. I am your host, Eddrick Jerome. And as always, this is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Don't forget, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, hosts of other podcast streaming platforms. Drop us a line, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing as we grow this thing from the ground up. We want to thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.